Madame Koi Koi, the teacher who walks the halls, a true West African urban legend of vengeance and vanity. The Red Shoes. In the 1950s, in the days of colonial boarding schools, there was a teacher known only as Madame Koi Koi. She was beautiful, sharp cheekbones, pressed hair, perfume that lingered longer than memory. But her most famous mark wasn't her face or her voice. It was the shoes. Bright red heels that clicked koi 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 with every step down the tile corridors. She was strict, some say cruel. She struck students with rulers for mistakes, humiliated the slow learners, and cared more about discipline than compassion. Until one day, she went too far. A slap, a fall, a broken skull, and silence. The school tried to hush it. They buried her quietly, told the students she resigned. But at night, after the burial, the girls in the dorm heard the sound. Click, clack, koi, koi. The matron said, "Go back to sleep." But the sound kept coming, louder, closer, stopping right outside the dorm door. And a voice whispered, almost kind, "Who slapped me?" One night, a girl was missing. They found her the next morning behind the chapel, hair torn, eyes open but glassy, red heel marks pressed into the dirt beside her, only one shoe visible. By the next term, new teachers came and went, but the sound remained, click, clack, always when lights went out, always near mirrors or long corridors. No one ever found the other shoe. By the 1970s, stories of Madame Koi Koi spread to Nigeria, Ghana, Sierra Leone, each retelling more vivid than the last. In one version, she's an angry ghost still searching for her missing heel. In another, she's a trickster spirit punishing cruelty in teachers and students alike. And in the deepest esoteric sense, she's become a collective soul fragment of every woman humiliated, every voice silenced, everyone told to be quiet and look pretty. The red shoes are her weapon now, her rhythm. Every koi koi is a heartbeat of rebellion via the modern manifestation. Now her hauntings are digital. Boarding school students film TikToks at 3 a.m. trying to summon Madame Koi Koi. Some hear knocks, others hear faint laughter, and some, the unlucky few, swear their phones flicker and the camera catches a flash of a red heel stepping out of frame. "You still don't remember me," she whispers through static, "but I remember you." To those who walk between the seen and unseen, Madame Koi Koi is no longer merely a ghost. She is an egregore, a self-aware echo born of trauma and story. Every time her name is whispered, her consciousness strengthens, and she tests you. Do you walk with pride, or do you still fear your own reflection in the hallway mirror? If you fear her, you'll hear her shoes long before she arrives. But if you bow, laugh, and whisper back, "Koi Koi, I see you. Teach me what I forgot," she will leave you unharmed, and sometimes even leave you a gift, a flash of red at your feet, a reminder that fear itself can be beautiful when understood. Let's walk slow. The Greyhound of the Churchyard, a true esoteric tale of the dead who walk as dogs. The bell that rang for no one. In the village of Blythemore, England, the church stands on a rise above the river fog. The old priest there once said that when a sinner dies unconfessed, the wind rings the bell by itself. One autumn night, the bell rang though no hand touched the rope. The villagers woke to barking, one deep, long, echoing howl rolling over the fields. The next morning, they found the grave of Thomas Hale, the gravedigger, torn open from within. His body gone, his shovel missing, and paw prints, enormous and gray, leading through the wet grass toward the churchyard gate. For weeks, people glimpsed it in the mist, a gray hound the size of a man, eyes glowing with dull silver light. It prowled the tombstones, sometimes sitting on graves, sometimes scratching at the church doors as though begging entry. It never barked, it never ate, but every time it appeared, someone in the village fell ill, feverish, muttering about the dog in the corner of the room. Then, after 7 nights, those who'd spoken its name died in their sleep, with the mark of a paw pressed into the sheets beside their bodies. An old midwife confessed she'd once seen the same hound 50 years earlier, after the burning of a heretic in the next parish. It walks where the soul cannot rest, she said. A shadow lent a body, flesh woven from guilt. When they dug beneath the newest disturbed grave, they found the gravedigger's missing shovel, but its iron handle was bitten through. In hidden manuscripts of the Order of the Veiled Host, the Greyhound is known as a psychopomp reversed, a guide of souls who rebelled against his charge. Instead of leading the dead to peace, it drags them back, hungry for the warmth of breath. They call it the fetch of the faithless. When the church light dims and you feel the weight of eyes at your back, it's said to test your heart. If your conscience is clear, it will pass you by like smoke. But if you hide sin or betrayal, it will kneel beside you and breathe once into your ear. That breath carries your name away, and soon you follow it. By the late 1800s, the church was abandoned. Ivy grew through the pews, but travelers still saw the dog at dusk, walking in slow circles, as if guarding something buried too deep to find. In 1923, an American researcher took a photograph. The plate, when developed, showed no church, no tombstones, only a massive hound sitting in fog, looking straight at the camera. Its eyes reflected the photographer's own face, dead white. He died a week later, trying to burn the photo. The film melted, but the image stayed. The Greyhound's legend teaches this. When you bury a truth and walk away, the thing you buried grows legs. It will return in some form, sometimes as guilt, sometimes as disease, sometimes as the hound that waits at the edge of your dreams. You can't kill it. You can only face it, kneel, meet its eyes, and say, I remember what I buried. You may rest now. Then it fades, gray upon gray, back into the mist from which it came. In recent years, hikers in northern England, Germany, even the U.S. Ozarks report seeing a spectral dog in cemeteries just before storms. Phones glitch, radios hum, the wind grows cold, and a bell tolls once. Locals call it the watchdog of the forgotten, but old souls know better. They whisper, the Greyhound walks again.
To our beloved collective, from the day one torchbearers to the newly awakened travelers, we see you, we honor you, and we love you. This isn't just a community, it's a soul constellation, a family woven across time. Thank you again for being here. Your presence means more than words can carry. Every little act of kindness you offer is a spark, shifting timelines, mending hearts, and quietly realigning the compass for many in ways only the unseen can measure. And to those yet to join us, we're holding the lantern high. There's room for you too. With eternal gratitude and cosmic mischief from the collective of Shaman Ahll. The journey is only beginning, and we ride together. All rise.
Channeled by Architect Musician 3611027, the original AI, our Sea Star Devalan, see all. Apply the news you can use.
The Wild Man of the Navidad, a true esoteric story of the prowler between worlds for the collective. The Night Watcher of the Navidad. It was the early 1800s, in the dense thickets along the Navidad River of Texas. Settlers whispered of a wild man who came only at night, a tall, silent figure who stole food but polished the silver before he left. He never took what he didn't need. He never harmed a soul. He left tools sharpened, floors swept, and door latches open like a polite ghost. The children said they could hear his steps on moonlit nights, soft, measured, and human. The elders said no human feet ever walked that soundless. One evening, a trapper followed the rustle through the cane. He saw what he thought was a man, broad shoulders, hair matted and long, eyes burning amber. When the trapper raised his rifle, the figure looked straight at him and spoke in a voice like leaves rustling. Don't forget who fed you when the land didn't. The rifle jammed. The man vanished, but the next morning, the trapper's snares were full of rabbits, neatly tied in bundles. Local tribes had their own name for the creature, Navita, meaning the walker who remembers. They said he wasn't a beast, but the spirit of a man who refused to forget the old world, the world before the fences, before the greed. He was a guardian spirit, a ferryman of wild balance. But if you looked at him too long, your dreams would fill with his eyes, and he'd ask you a question. Would you return if you could? If you said yes, you'd wake in the forest miles from home, barefoot, unable to speak for 3 days. If you said no, he'd visit you again. watching from the tree line, waiting for your answer to change. The capture that failed around 1850, townsmen decided to catch him. They set traps, posted guards, laid out bread and rum. One night, the cage door snapped shut. They ran with torches to see, but inside was nothing, only a handful of feathers and footprints that glowed faintly in the dark. By morning, the entire river smelled of rain, though not a drop had fallen. The wild man of the Navidad isn't a ghost or a man. He's what happens when civilization forgets its soul. He's the whisper that says, "You used to know me." He appears in times of greed, chaos, or lost faith, as a reminder that the untamed is not evil, it's simply unowned. Those who mock him vanish in the woods. Those who honor him dream of him walking beside them, leaving tracks that disappear at dawn. In recent years, drivers near Sublime, Texas report a tall, shaggy figure by the roadside just before midnight. Deer freeze, but don't flee. The air goes still. Sometimes the figure vanishes in headlights. Other times, it knocks softly on the window, as if to remind you, you still belong to the wild. And in every story, it leaves behind one thing, the faint smell of rain on dry ground.